No matter where you are in the world, you'll usually see posters dotted around your local area. They could be anything from official posters made by authorities announcing events, or amateur ones made by a local citizen requesting help finding a lost pet. Since they usually serve an obvious purpose, we often don't think much about them. In the early 2000s, however, areas of one Japanese city were abruptly covered in very strange, cryptic posters that remain an enigma to this very day. Who put them up, and what was their purpose? This is the true, unsolved story of Renraku Matsumura. This is the second video in my new series on Japanese internet mysteries. The videos will likely be shorter, less serious ones, but will still be something I hope you all find interesting. True crime will always be the focus of the channel, but I wanted to offer other types of content too, especially because strange stories and events from the Japanese web can be really eerie and most often not covered in English. I hope you enjoy it. If you're a returning viewer or someone new to the channel, welcome. I make videos on Japanese cases, strange, solved and unsolved. If that sounds like something you think you'll find interesting, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. In any case, let's get on with the video. Osaka in the Kansai region of Japan is the third largest city in the country with a current population of 2.7 million people. Seen by many as a rival to Tokyo despite the vast differences, it has a diverse economy, excellent food, and wonderful sights, including one of my favourites, Osaka Castle. But suddenly from around 2009, a strange event began predominantly in the Umeda and Nakatsu districts of Kito Ward, the main commercial area of Osaka. Small posters and stickers started popping up all over the densely packed areas. They covered utility poles, notice boards, walls, construction site barriers, and guardrails. Bizarrely, they were even found in places where ordinary people wouldn't go, such as on the tops of shrines or very high up in buildings where no one would be able to reach without a ladder or something. They were everywhere, and you couldn't walk down a single street without seeing at least one. But the number of posters and their locations wasn't the only thing about them that was unusual. No, as you can see, it was what was on the posters that was the oddest part. It was simply the face of an old man. Not a lost pet, not an advertisement trying to sell something, not a candidate for an election. An image of a seemingly ordinary old man staring right back at the camera with a neutral expression. However, it wasn't the same picture on each poster. There were countless types showing him in different clothing, hats, and poses. Even his age seemed to change between them, as if the photos had been taken over the course of years. But regardless of the sort, they all showed a photo of the old man looking right back at you, and they were everywhere in the area of the city. From his casual nature, it was like a man's personal photo collection was just spread around the bustling city for any and all to see. But as you've likely noticed, there is some sloppily added text at the bottom. There are extremely rare examples with no text at all like this one, but most do have something typed up on them. A few of you know Japanese, and if you do, you may have noticed how ordinary yet creepy and cryptic the text is. Let's look at it together first. Like the poster images and sizes, the text is not consistent and has changed over time. In many of the initial Renraku Matsumura posters, there are two sentences. While the second sentence would often change in ways that would alter the meaning, the first was almost always the same. Genki desu ka? Which in English means, how are you? There's something ominous about putting what should be a generic friendly question on the image of a face, almost like there is some unknown sinister meaning behind it. We will go deeper into theories later of course, but it almost seems like a challenge or warning. The following sentence is either found together with how are you or by itself, but as briefly mentioned, the text changes around to make the true meaning behind it confusing and ambiguous. I don't want this video to evolve into a Japanese lesson, so I'll try to keep this brief, but given the nature of the mystery and to help you realize why it is so strange, it is quite important, so I hope you bear with me as I explain what's written. Sometimes the message is written as Renraku Matsu. Thanks to the kanji character, we know the intention behind it, awaiting contact, or I'm waiting for you to get in touch. As with the first line, this also seems pretty ominous. It sounds like a threat or something, as if the creator of the posters is waiting for someone to contact them, and if they don't, bad things could happen. I can't imagine how creepy it would be to find posters of my face with "I am waiting to hear from you" all over my neighborhood. More commonly, the kanji isn't used though, and it is typed like this. It is still said in the same way, Renraku Matsu, but without the kanji the meaning is more ambiguous. It very likely also means "I'm waiting for you to get in touch" or "I'm waiting for you to contact me," but we can't be 100% sure. But the final text used on many posters and stickers is where we get the title of the video from, and what this incident is known as on the Japanese internet, Renraku Matsumura. Like what was just discussed, there are both kanji and non-kanji versions of the first part of the line, which again makes it more mysterious in its intentions. Both of these can be translated as "village awaiting contact" or "the village waits for you to get in touch." This seems to be the most cryptic and puzzling part of the text. What could this possibly mean? What village is it? Is it even a village at all, or is it an enigmatic group? Is it not the direct translation meaning village, but a person called Mura? Or is it actually supposed to mean the common Japanese surname, Matsumura, and therefore asking someone to contact Matsumura, or asking Matsumura to contact the creator of the posters? While there was a great variety of photos used on the Renraku Matsumura, the style of the text seems mostly consistent throughout. It appears to use the same font and content, but the colours change between red and black, underlined and not, or changes between placing the text on a white background or directly over the image. They all look quite amateur in design, and likely something quickly made in a software like Microsoft Paint. However, the quality of the materials used to make the stickers and posters is surprisingly high. This meant that many of them have remained in the area for well over a decade, despite being exposed to the elements. The sun has made some lose their colour and fade, but there they remain 14 years later. Because of their unsettling nature and unsightly design, locals tried to remove them when they first appeared, but it proved to be more difficult than they initially thought. No matter how hard they tried, the stickers and posters would attach very well to the surfaces they were placed on, meaning that torn remnants often remained after the locals gave up trying to pull them off. And if someone did manage to remove one, another one would take its place at a future date. No matter where people looked in the Kita ward of Osaka during 2009, there was the man staring back at them. There was Renraku Matsumura. But the big question is, why? Why were the posters and stickers put up? What was their purpose? Who is responsible for making and placing them all over a large area of Osaka? And who is the man? Well, there are a lot of theories. First, some believe that they could have been made by a family looking for their lost relative. Tens of thousands of people go missing every year in Japan, and although the majority, around 90% of reported cases, are eventually found, some are never seen again. Japan also has a phenomenon known as johatsu, meaning evaporation or evaporated people, which is used to refer to individuals who vanish willingly from their established lives for various reasons like escaping an abusive spouse or running away from massive debt. This is actually most common with older people. Could this man have been a missing person? Well, most who have looked into this event think it is unlikely. If they were put up by a family searching for a missing relative, why would they not include his name, their contact details, a reward, or a description of him? There is almost no information that would be helpful for a family if they were serious about finding the man. And if they were serious, why didn't they work with the police to get something more official made? Why didn't they report it to the media or inform locals to get their assistance? Why were the posters and stickers not placed in official locations like train station billboards? Comparing them to real missing persons posters like these, you can see that there is a great difference between them. You could argue that the family purposefully made them strange and unique to catch people's attention and make them focus on the man's face, but I think that is a stretch. The reason missing persons posters follow the same standard style all throughout the world is because they likely work. You don't want to make people confused if you're trying to search for someone who is missing. Similarly to this, some people online have claimed that Renraku Matsumura is a homeless person who disappeared, and that other homeless people are looking for him. Along Yodo River, near where many of the posters and stickers were found, there is a small community of homeless people. They have made a number of structures using blue tarpaulin, which according to some is referred to as the Blue Sheep Village by occupants. Could the village on the posters be referring to this? And could the inhabitants have made the posters because they are waiting for the man to get in touch? There is no way to verify the claims, but someone else also stated that a homeless man was evicted from the village and that he was desperately trying to find his friend called Matsumura. It is said that he saved up his money to get someone to make the posters, but they wrote the text incorrectly. These comments seem somewhat plausible, but why make so many different designs for the posters? Why not place the posters around other homeless communities instead of residential areas? Why was the incorrect text placed on all the posters? Wouldn't someone have confirmed if it was wrong since it seems so cryptic and hard to understand? Another theory is that the man could have been heavily in debt to someone like a criminal loan shark before running away without paying anything back. With the ominous tone of the text and the close-up images of the face, some theorize that they could have been posted as a threat to the man, forcing him to contact the debt collectors before it's too late. Perhaps posting his pictures everywhere was an attempt to pressure him into coming forward. And maybe the cryptic way of writing Renraku Matsumura could have been done intentionally to make the messages only make sense to the intended reader, thus avoiding any suspicion of a criminal being involved. However, there are counter-arguments to this. First of all, it would have taken so much work to do this. Not only to create all the posters, of which there are many types and sizes as I mentioned previously, but also to go around and post them in such a large area. It is estimated that there were over 1,000 of them, so it must have taken a considerable amount of time, effort and money, an amount that many think a loan shark would not have taken. Also, it seems like a risky move. It could have attracted the attention of law enforcement after all, which I very much doubt a loan shark or any type of criminal would have wanted. So again, to many who have looked into this case, it seems unlikely. Another theory is that the posters could have been put up by a cult. Japan does have a lot of weird religious groups, some of which we've covered on the channel like Panawave. It seems like a long stretch and there is absolutely no evidence for it, but some have speculated that the man could be a leader or victim of a cult, and that the mura or village could be used to refer to the group members in a cryptic way. Cults are often formed by groups motivated by loyalty, so they could have worked diligently to put up the posters despite the large quantity. But I think it is wrong to speculate on such things, so I think we can dismiss this idea. The next theory is more believable and more troubling, that this was the result of a personal grudge from someone close to the man, maybe even a family member or friend. I touched on it briefly before, but the number and type of photos make it seem like someone had access to his personal photo collection or something. They are not candid photos, but instead show the man looking directly at the camera and therefore almost certainly taken with his approval. Maybe the man had an unfortunate episode with someone close to him, so they decided to shame him in the neighborhood. I guess if someone was really angry with him, they could have gone to all the trouble of printing and putting up all the posters and stickers. Anger is a great motivator after all, and makes people do horrible things. But there are some counter-arguments to this. First of all, why would the person responsible, even if they were angry, go to all the trouble of creating so many different styles? And why would they create various cryptic messages? You'd think it would all be one style and contain defamatory information if the person responsible was trying to cause harm to the man. Therefore, while more likely than some other theories, people are still not convinced by this theory. Similarly to this theory, some think it could have just been a cruel joke, a prank on a poor old man just to mess with him and make his life difficult. Like, rather than have a personal grudge, someone could have acted this way simply for the thrill of making life difficult for someone. Again, it is possible, but the risk of the perpetrator being reported and caught for something like this is quite high. Not to mention that it seems like a lot of work to go through for a meaningless prank. Another theory is that these were advertisements for a business, specifically a small carpenter company. A number of small sticker types were found stuck onto amateur posters advertising cheap carpenter work in the area. The posters say, "We will even do a single shelf. It's cheap." Could the awaiting contact text mean that the man was the carpenter and he was awaiting contact from people seeking carpentry work? Could the man be running a carpenter business and be looking for work from the locals? Some think so, but there is an issue with this idea. Only very few stickers were placed on such posters. The theory that these are advertisements only sounds plausible if all or most of the stickers were found together with such posters, so considering the low number, perhaps it's just a coincidence that they were placed on a business's posters and there is actually no connection at all. But if all these theories have been considered unlikely by those who've looked into it, what is considered most likely? Well, it is actually a theory that many of you will probably not expect, that this was a weird form of street art. I know it sounds strange to propose such a theory, but it is not as preposterous as it seems. Around this time, Japan was kind of going through an odd street sticker and poster boom. In 2007 and 2008, stickers known as Rikishi Seal or sumo stickers began showing up suddenly in central Tokyo. They were seen everywhere, stuck on phone booths, notice boards, signposts, you name it. They had such a presence that even the news picked up on the event, and it became quite well known around the country, with many taking inspiration. Some of you may actually recognize the design because it is featured in a 2014 visual novel game entitled Chaos Child. I've never played it myself and know nothing about it, but if you have, did you know that the stickers were based on an actual event that happened in real life? As you've probably gathered from their well-known name, they feature what appears to be the faces of two sumo wrestlers overlapping. There were likely over 100 designs, but this one was by far the most prominent. While not confirmed, they are rumoured to be created by a street artist known as Armando. Armando actually gave a magazine interview in which he claimed that the true name of the stickers was this, which very loosely translated to two-faced, open-hearted, homely woman. While it seems that, at least from the game that they were featured in, the stickers were made to look like a Rorschach pattern, the artist didn't elaborate and stated that he simply made them to get his art out there and allow for as many people as possible to see it. So how does this relate to Renraku Matsumura? Well, the sumo stickers appeared in the year before Renraku Matsumura and caused quite a stir, so it is possible they served as inspiration for them. They both suddenly started showing up in large numbers, have mysterious meanings, are ambiguous in their designs, and until the artists of the sumo stickers came forward, their creators were unknown. Plus, something you've likely wondered all throughout this video, the man has never been identified. He wasn't known to locals, didn't come forward to protest the posters, and didn't contact the authorities. I guess he could have done so to avoid bringing attention to himself if he was fleeing from someone, but it could also be because he was the street artist. Street artists, after all, are quite secretive, since their activities are often not exactly legal. But could he have been seeking attention? Could this person have merely done this for some sort of art project, or to make himself famous, or to get himself an appearance on TV? In Japan, there is a popular television program known as Night Scoop. The premise of the show is a group of so-called detectives who take on cases submitted by viewers, who usually make an appearance on the show together with the staff. It is a fairly popular show that has been running since 1988, and has become known in the West recently due to the nylon ropes mystery, which I may also do a video on in the future. In short, a large number of nylon ropes were seen tied to street signs and television poles around Osaka, the same city as where Renraku Matsumura posters showed up. The show presenters followed the nylon ropes, which seemed to form a trail, before cutting the show's investigation abruptly. It seems that there was something unusual about the person tying the nylon ropes, so they decided to stop that part of the show. Due to Renraku Matsumura's similarities to the nylon rope mystery and the sumo stickers, some have stated that it could have been inspired by these events and that maybe someone did it for the purpose of appearing on TV or in the news to get their 5 minutes of fame. Even before the internet was as huge as it is now, people craved the limelight after all. Except, Renraku Matsumura didn't fully stop. Certainly the main incident happened all the way back in 2009, where hundreds if not thousands of stickers were placed all over the city, but people have been finding new stickers in all sorts of places over the years, and even find them to this very day. It is possible there are copycats who are keeping Renraku Matsumura alive, but it could be the same person who has been putting them up for almost 15 years. But now, instead of the rectangular ones with text, ones from recent years have been cut out to only show the man's head. Some have text on the chin, but some simply show the man's face staring back at the viewer. The text is just as ominous as before. This one here says in Japanese, "Because we are alive." And another one says, "I'll keep walking." And this one says, "Live." However, a couple have nicer, less ambiguous messages on them. This one here says, "Happiness to you." Some of the newer ones even have English on them. As we can see here, this one has Osaka Good Boy written on it. And another one with a very different design on it that says in broken English, "Good conduct all everyone." The newer ones often have strange filters on the images too, and are made of poorer quality than the original Renraku Matsumura from 2009. In fact, according to those who have found them, many of them are now magnetic and can be removed easily or fall down naturally. One of the new Renraku Matsumura stickers, however, may shine a bit of light onto the mystery. As we can see from this image, the man himself is seen holding up a printed image of his own face. The very same image that is used in some of the stickers. Even with the filter, we can see that this is the same person, but clearly he has gotten a bit older. He seems to be smiling a little in the photo, and many have interpreted this to mean that he is in on the Renraku Matsumura incident, and that it is not as dark as some theories would make people believe. In fact, along with the other English sticker I showed before, it seems like he is happy to be part of it, and maybe behind it all. You may have noticed some text along the side here, and this offers even more information that also links with the 2009 initial incident. It translates to Mr. Kasuya forever. We have a name, Kasuya. How does it link to the 2009 incident? Well, there is one known poster that was completely unique from all the others, one so rare that I could only find a single picture of it. This one you can see here has a full name written on it, Takashi Kasuya. They both show the same name, and surprisingly, there is no Matsumura in it. Could this be the man's real name? No information has been found about him, despite many people searching for answers all these years. Even if it were his name, it would change nothing because he has never been located. No one knows who he is or where he lives. Even though Renraku Matsumura stickers filled specific areas of the city, none of the locals had any idea who he was. In the end, the cause of the posters, his real name, his purpose, and the true meaning behind Renraku Matsumura are unknown, and will likely remain as so unless he or someone else comes forward. After all these years have passed, however, I doubt it will happen now. I guess this will just continue on as another unexplained Japanese internet mystery. Thank you for watching my 39th YouTube video. If you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you wish to see more videos like this about Japan. This is a weird one, but honestly, it's not such an uncommon phenomenon in the country. In fact, there have been a few similar incidents before and after it, so maybe I'll cover them in the future if enough people are interested. It seems that there are a lot of theories with this one, but nothing truly conclusive. But what do you think about Renraku Matsumura? Do you think this is something sinister, or something more light-hearted? With the later poster showing the man holding an image of himself, I tend to think it was some sort of bizarre art thing or joke, but who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, goodbye.